So I've just been with my amazing geography team, all 12 of them, absolutely smashing it. But one thing we covered today that I just want to share with everyone is how to successfully analyse data in geography. And this is a really important skill that GCSE geographers and A-level geographers need to be able to do. And actually, it's a skill that people in their careers need to do as well. So I'm just going to share it with you. We use something called TEAM, which my team now know stands for Trend, Evidence, Anomaly, Manipulate. And we can just use this to describe maps, but we can also use it to describe graphs. In this example, we're going to use it to describe a map, okay? So we can clearly see that this shows literacy rate across the world with varying colors representing different values. So the dark blues are like 97% of the country have really high literacy rates, which means at the age of 15, they can read or write a basic sentence like, I saw a cat, okay? But you can also see there's parts of the world where the literacy rate is still 50%. So only half people at 15 can use a basic sentence like that. So we look for an overall trend, first of all, which means an overall pattern. And one example might be, it's really clear that in the whole of Africa, generally, they have pretty low literacy rates. Another trend you might say is, well, in Europe, they have really high literacy rates. And because we mentioned a continent, that kind of works as an overall trend. Or we might say something like the Northern Hemisphere has really high literacy rates. Then we just need to back it up with evidence. So we give an example. So we say, for example, the UK, and then we're going to use our data here, has literacy rates of 97% and above. But we've got to make sure that our evidence backs up the trend that we said. So that only works for the trend about Europe. If I said that Africa has low literacy rates, then I need to talk about Somalia, for example, which has literacy rates of less than 50%. Then I need to give an anomaly, which means the odd one out, something that doesn't fit the trend. So I might say, for example, if I'm going back to the trend of, let's talk about, Africa, okay, I might say Africa generally has low literacy rates, but there are some places with higher literacy rates, for example, South Africa. Okay, so it goes against that trend, all right? And then finally, we do some maths. And we might say something like, according to this map, 95% of Europe has high literacy rates. Or looking at Africa, 60% of the continent has really poor literacy rates. Okay, so that would be trend, evidence, anomaly, manipulate. And this is usually like a 2 or a 3 marker in a GCSE geography exam. And we can use this to describe graphs as well. So we might say like, overall, the trend of the graph is that it's increasing. Evidence, I know this because in 1950, the population was 2 million, but by 2000, it was over 3.5 million. Anomaly, however, there was a time where it dipped slightly or it wasn't speeding up as much or the population wasn't increasing as much in 1980. And then we might do some simple maths. We call this manipulation. We'll say overall, the population has increased by, and just do some simple maths here, 2 million to 3.7. So overall, it's gone up by 1.7 million, something like that. Okay, hopefully that's been useful. That's how we use TEAM to describe a graph or a map. Give me a thumbs up when you've watched this.